Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to GST's YQMA episode number 14 today, where we talk about the proper way to train legs twice per week. All right, so it really seems like the big thing to do nowadays is to train for powerlifting. You train legs, every single day, bench press every single day, row every single day. To me, god damn, that is just boring. There's no way that I would ever do that. And all these people that come to me for new programming, they always say, oh, I'm on full body 5 days a week, full body 3 days a week. And they all say the same thing. I am bored. It's not fun for me to go to the gym. And I seriously love to hear that, because I love improving people's gym experiences. And that's what we do as soon as they come to me and they start to love their training sessions again. They're actually excited to hit the gym because they're not doing the same thing every goddamn day. So clearly we're not talking about how to train your legs 3-4 times a week. That's not going to happen in this video. What's going to happen in this video is I'm going to outline a high quality twice weekly leg training regimen. So right off the bat, we're going to talk about squatting. Obviously, when you train your legs, you're going to squat. If you can't squat because of a back injury or some other type of physical injury, you're probably going to leg press instead. Especially if it's a back injury, you're going to hop on that leg press, and that's going to work well. But for all intents and purposes, I'm going to refer to this as squatting. Okay, so we're going to start with your favorite squat variation. That's going to be the foundational core lift of your first leg training day of the week. Choose your favorite squat variation. We want it to be preferably more quad dominant, so stick to a high bar front squat, a medium stance leg press if you have to leg press. And you can also get a lot of quad activation out of a low bar squat too. So we might as well throw in low bar squats as well. So pick a low bar, high bar, front squat, or quad dominant leg press variation, and that's going to be your foundational core lift. Now you're going to use GST's core lift set rep schemes for that core lift as you move through your months of training. Now, when you hit twice weekly frequency, obviously it's going to be best and necessary to actually maintain that twice weekly frequency to hit your quads, hamstrings, glutes, and calves twice per week. That's the whole point. It's twice weekly frequency. So we have our quad dominant squat. That's all taken care of and great. Next, we're going to prioritize a hamstring dominant movement as the first accessory or supplement lift to your twice weekly leg training regimen. Now, what I like to do is I really prefer hitting that squat and then moving into a Romanian deadlift or barbell good morning or cable pull through, something of that nature where you're really zoning in on the glutes and hamstrings. We don't want it to be an isolation movement, so leg curls are out. We want it to be a compound movement where you can move some big weight and really create a lot of stimulus for growth and strength gains. So use one of those exercises. My personal preference is that Romanian deadlift. Now after that, you have the choice of adding more leg volume into your routine through a unilateral leg exercise. Now unilateral means working or focusing on one leg at a time. Think of lunges, think of split squats, think of step-ups, and think of one-legged leg pressing. Those are all great options. Now, we want this to be a compound movement. It's not an isolation for the quads or the hamstrings or the glutes. It's another compound movement. And this is the option that you can take if you really want to pound your legs each time you hit them. Squats, Romanian deadlifts, and a unilateral leg movement will destroy your legs in a compound manner. So that's going to be your second accessory lift or supplement lift in GST terms, is your unilateral leg movement. Now, if you want to throw in an isolation for your quads on this day, since this is technically the more quad dominant day, throw in leg extensions. Leg extensions are obviously one of the best quad isolations And honestly, there's not that many quad isolations out there without getting like real creative. So stick with the leg extension. It's really all you need. And then after that, throw in 1 to 2 calf exercises. I usually go with a seated variation and a straight leg variation, or I should say a bent leg variation, which is the seated calf raise, or a straight leg variation, which varies from a donkey calf raise, a leg press calf raise, or even that standing leg or that standing calf raise machine that sometimes you see at different gyms. Okay, so that takes care of our first leg training day, and it's quad dominant. You're starting with a squat motion, then you're getting that twice weekly hamstring frequency built up by hitting that hamstring glute dominant compound movement. You're following that up with another quad ham and glute movement, which is going to be your unilateral leg work, and then we're keeping the quad dominant theme by hitting leg extensions and following up with some calf work. Calf work is important. You don't want to just work only from the knee up on your legs. You know, you want to be thick all the way through. So when you say leg day, you should tie in your calves as well. Okay, so you go through a couple rest days, and it's twice weekly frequency we're talking about, so you need to get another leg day in. And this is going to be your posterior chain dominant leg day, or glute hamstring dominant leg day. So what can you do here? In my opinion, this is where you bring in your favorite deadlift variation. You bring in sumo deadlifts, you bring in conventional deadlifts, trap bar deadlifts, possibly even Romanian deadlifts again if you really like them, or you can also hit that rack deadlift. Personally, for me, I hold the sumo, trap, and conventional deadlift in the highest regard for this initial core lift. You're going to get a nice full range of motion with each one, or the fullest ranges of motion with each one. Obviously, with the rack deadlift, you're not going to get that. And with the Romanian deadlift, we've already done that earlier in the week. Typically, you tend to move a little less weight with that one. So I want to focus on the moves that we can really hammer the body with. And conventional deadlifts, sumo deadlifts, and trap bar deadlifts are going to get that job done. So you follow that core lift with more accessory or supplement work, just like during the first day. Now here we want a quad dominant initial supplement lift. So this is where you could bring in a different squat variation that wasn't used in your earlier day. Let's say you bring in front squats because you're using back squats as your initial day's core lift. So you bring in front squats, maybe hack squats, a quad dominant leg press variation. As you can see, there's variety here. But the point is that your first supplement lift of the second leg day is quad dominant. That's how we get that super quad dominant twice weekly frequency going on. And then we're going to follow that first supplement lift up with another unilateral, which there's a lot of unilateral leg work out there. So if you chose walking lunges for your initial day, choose something different. Choose split squats, choose reverse lunges, choose step ups, choose that single-legged leg press. There's a lot of variants that you can have in your programming, and this is how you keep it fun and mentally engaging. And mental engagement in programming relates to a higher rate of success. You have to like your training if you want to be the most successful in it. Okay, so we follow that unilateral leg workout up with another isolation movement. This time, it's not quad dominant though. This time it's hamstring dominant. So we need a hamstring isolation. In this case, I recommend the seated, kneeling, or lying leg curl machine. Either one of those is going to get the job done. It's going to isolate your hamstring, and that's really all you need to do right here. Now again, we're twice weekly frequency for all leg muscles. So what does that leave us to hit? If you said calves, eat a cookie, because you're right. Now calves can be hit again the same way. You know, there's not a ton of different variations, but they are out there. But as far as a bent leg variation, you're going to need to hit that seated calf raise once again. So hit that again, and then choose your favorite straight-legged variation for this day. I mentioned leg press calf raises, donkey calf raises, and if your gym has that standing calf raise machine, you can use that as well. Now what I like to do as just a little insider tip is on day one, on your day one leg day, if you hit the seated calf raise first, hit that second on the second leg day. Just vary that priority so you're not always hitting your seated first, or you're not always hitting your straight-legged variation first. Mix it up so you can perform equally well on each variation just during different days of the week. So when it comes to hitting twice weekly leg frequency through GST, this is my preferred layout. You have a slightly more quad dominant day, and then you have a slightly more posterior chain hamstring glute dominant day. That's the way that I get it done, and that's the way that we make lower bodies grow every single day with GST. So if you have any questions on variations of exercises, set rep schemes for different exercises, or if you have your own ideas for a different type of twice weekly leg activation layout, feel free to comment and bring up the topic. Let's talk more about it. Other than that, it's time for me to bounce. My wife, Jess, and I, we're about to hit up our weekly sushi buffet. This is something that we've been doing every single week during this current fat loss phase. We love it. I never sacrifice my date time with her just based on my meal plan. And I think that's important. It really shows the healthy outlook that you should have even when you're in a dedicated fat loss phase. You need to make sure that you do the things that are important, and they maintain and they help other aspects of your life. Don't be a social robot. Don't be a nutritional robot. Be smart about your nutrition, diet flexibly, and you have to enjoy the things that you like. I like sushi, so does Jess, so we do it once a week. Okay, thank you again for watching. I hope that my message helps you in your leg training and also your sushi eating habits, and have a great rest of the Thursday.